Last Pro Power Ultra batteries, a 5-year battery with roadside assistance, and flat out the best brake deal around at just $399 per axle with new pads, rotors, labor, and a lifetime warranty for most vehicles.
Fantastic. And if people need financing, can you help there?
Yes, we can. We offer the AutoPass card, an interest-free card for 6 months on every repair over $199, which saves a lot of people who need immediate help with repairs. Get an answer in minutes from our homepage at anytimeanytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
Take advantage of that card, people. See anytimeanytime.com. And, of course, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Hey, volleyball families, get ready to serve up some fun at the Wautiki Spike-tacular Volleyball Tournament, February 13th through 15th at the Box Elder Event Center. Experience high-energy matches, glow-in-the-dark games Friday night, and exciting play all weekend long. Compete in 14U, 16U, or 18U divisions for a shot at the trophy. Stay and play with 25% off rooms at Courtyard by Marriott and water park passes included. Register now at thebox.live.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Changes happening in Pittsburgh. After 19 seasons, Mike Tomlin has informed his team that he is stepping down as the Steelers' head coach. The Eagles have fired offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo after one season. Philadelphia will be looking for their fifth offensive coordinator in 5 years. Former Browns coach Kevin Stefanski is interviewing in person for the Dolphins' head coaching job today. And the Ravens have completed an interview with Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores for their head coaching vacancy. ESPN reports that Marcus Freeman is still expected to remain at Notre Dame for the 2026 season, while the Panthers are picking up the fifth-year option on quarterback Bryce Young. In baseball, the Diamondbacks are acquiring 8-time All-Star third baseman Nolan Arenado in a trade with the Cardinals. In the NBA, Maverick star Anthony Davis is likely to undergo surgery to repair ligament damage in his left hand and miss several months. This is according to ESPN. I'm Amancio Bolaños.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome in across the state. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show live. Glad you're on board. Appreciate you making us part of your day, and thanks for making this show possible. Yes, we're live, Fox Sports Radio. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Let's have a good one tonight on your drive home. We are live, KWSN, Sioux Falls, also Fox Sports Rapid City. You can stream us anywhere. If you can't listen to the radio the whole 2 hours, we got 2 hours thought-provoking sports talk ready to go from high school to college to the pros. A lot to discuss today. Some very interesting stories nationally and regionally. You can stream us on X at Nate Brown Show. So find us there on X. Follow the show. Watch us live. Welcome in studio at Nate Brown Show on X. You're there. YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. So if you're on YouTube, it's easy to get there. Subscribe to the channel. You've got the show live and the archive shows. Welcome in there, The Nate Brown Show. If you would subscribe to the YouTube channel, that'd be big time. We'd appreciate it. Also, Midwest Sports Plus is the new high school sports streaming app, and this show is live for 2 hours every afternoon on Midwest Sports Plus. If you don't have the new app, check it out. Live high school sports and The Nate Brown Show. Who's on tonight? Looks good. We're going to go to Pittsburgh tonight. Just big blockbuster news in Pittsburgh, from the Steelers going down in flames last night to Aaron Rodgers maybe being done, to Mike Tomlin being done for now. Big news, and we got lucky tonight. We got Chris Halleck on, Steelers beat writer for DK Pittsburgh Sports, one of the best local companies in Pittsburgh. He's the beat writer for DK Pittsburgh Sports. He's live. Chris Halleck's been busy, but we've got him tonight. Coming up, Pittsburgh reaction for Steeler Nation. That's on the way. We'll go to the Twin Cities. Thor Nystrom is in, covers the Vikings and more. Another little incident with the Vikes. We'll get to that. Thor Nystrom's on from Score North tonight. We'll go to Jerry Brewer, senior columnist for The Athletic. Great writers, covered numerous Super Bowls. He's covered Aaron Rodgers, the whole scene. Jerry Brewer's on from The Athletic. And high school basketball tonight, one of the big matchups to watch, St. Thomas More, Rapid City Christian, rivalry with head coach of the STM boys. Haven't heard from him in a while. We'll talk to Tony Young, who steps in for Dave Hollenbeck. And the St. Thomas More boys have looked really, really good. We'll get to Tony Young tonight, coming up, talking high school hoops. Busy show tonight, you know that. A lot of football, some hoops mixed in, some questions of the day. Throw out the number. It's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline for you. You can be a part of the show there. Join the conversation on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Location's great for everyone's favorite buffet. Stop by tonight in Brandon or East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. The Pizza Ranch hotline is 605-720-1067. If you don't know that number, there it is, 605-720-1067. You're lined into the program. And the Barron's Wilson text line, Lister text line, you can hit us there. Same number, but you can text the show, 605-720-1067, Barron's Wilson text line. Okay, I said big news out of Pittsburgh, right? I mean, we can't deny that. Mike Tomlin, 19 years, he's stepping away. And this one surprised me because I thought, well, they were thinking, is he going to get fired if they lose? What's going to happen? He just decides to step away. And that means the Steelers still have his rights. I don't know how this is all going to play out. People are reporting he's going to maybe do TV and kind of take a break that way. So Mike Tomlin stepping down as the Steelers head coach, and I've been a fan of his. No losing seasons. He's got the Super Bowl appearances. He's got the Super Bowl win. So Mike Tomlin, by all accounts, just solid. I mean, you would put Mike Tomlin in what category? I think you'd have to put Mike Tomlin as one of the all-time great coaches. I think you'd have to do that. Couple of Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl win, no losing seasons. I mean, you got to think about this and the longevity and what he's done there. I don't know if you would put him up there. Mike Tomlin's not going to get as much respect as an Andy Reid because of the numerous Super Bowl titles. I mean, he's just not. I think you have to put him in there. So if I'm thinking just out loud tonight on the show, football fans across the state, you think Mike Tomlin stepping away, 19 seasons, I just gave you some of the stats. Do you think Mike Tomlin, one of the all-time great coaches? I do. Now, let me go to the other side of this. The cameras were on Aaron Rodgers last night more than anybody because this Mike Tomlin news today was kind of new, surprising. People are throwing out he might want to take a break, but we didn't know. So Tomlin's the big news today, but last night this is Aaron Rodgers, potentially his last game. I don't know. I think so. I can't tell you what Aaron Rodgers is going to be doing. He'll go into the dark. He'll come out. He'll see the light. I have no clue. You don't have a clue. But Aaron Rodgers is old. You can tell that even late last night. It was not going well. I've been a guy that said Aaron Rodgers has fallen off the cliff. Some people still think he can play really well. I don't. And you saw that against a good Texans team. I know the Steelers hung around, but big turnover in the fourth, and then it just fell apart at the seams. I mean, it was a mess in the fourth quarter for the Steelers last night. Aaron Rodgers, if that's his last game, all the cameras were on him, all the talk, all the this. I think most of you, and maybe I'm gonna surprise some people tonight, but I'm being honest. This isn't hot take Nate Brown tonight. No hot takes here. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is like in my category as, hey, I'm putting him up there with the all-time great QBs. Aaron Rodgers goes up there with Joe Montana, Tom Brady, John Elway. I'm putting Aaron Rodgers up there with I'm not. And I don't know if it's just one of those things I think about going, man, I saw the hype last night. I know it's been a long career. It's an illustrious career. It is a great career. But I stop myself when I think about Mike Tomlin. You say, I think he's got to go all-time great coaches. Just the longevity, and he has won the big game. He's been there numerous times. Now, it's been a long stretch where he hasn't advanced far in the playoffs. So Mike Tomlin started to, even though no losing seasons, he started to tail off a little bit. And when you think about this, you go, Aaron Rodgers has done the same thing. He got that one Super Bowl appearance and one Super Bowl win. And, man, we just throw Aaron Rodgers out there just so loosely that I feel like we put Aaron Rodgers up there with the Steve Youngs. I mean, Steve Young has 3 Super Bowl titles. So I'm throwing this around as you think about the changing of the guard. Mike Tomlin steps away in Pittsburgh, and maybe we saw the last of Aaron Rodgers. I think the career of Aaron Rodgers has been great. I don't know if it's all-time great. Do you guys, you be honest with me, is Aaron Rodgers up there with the John Elways, the Steve Youngs of the world? Is Aaron Rodgers up there with the Patrick Mahomes? He's still playing. He's still got a lot of time to play. I think some people could make the argument Patrick Mahomes' career and accomplishments are better than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron has the longevity, had the passer rating, the touchdowns. He had all of that stuff, and he had it all ready to go in Green Bay. It was made for him. It was made in the shade. And the one Super Bowl appearance and one Super Bowl title for me kind of makes me take a step back, saying I almost see Aaron Rodgers as a little more overrated than all-time great. That's me. And maybe you see it as, this is a no-brainer. That's my question of the day, by the way. That's my question of the day. Let's throw it out. Vikings fans, Packers fans, South Dakota sports fans, I want the question of the day tonight. With one Super Bowl title, do you consider Aaron Rodgers one of the all-time greatest QBs ever? Now, that's tough the way you throw that out. Like, what is the all-time greatest QBs ever? Well, I'm not going to put together a full list on the Nate Brown Show this Tuesday and just run through it for you. I'm not going to do it, but I just threw out some of the names. I don't see him as John Elway. I don't see him as Steve Young. Like, how about this, though? You would say, well, he's better than Troy Aikman. He's better than Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman won 3 Super Bowls, right, in the 90s with the Cowboys. But, well, he had a great team. He had that dynasty and the whole thing. That's what Steve Young had. Aaron Rodgers isn't Joe Montana, guys, and I have a feeling this day and age, if you talk to people about Aaron Rodgers, they say one of the all-time best QBs ever. Is he closer to Russell Wilson's career than Joe Montana's career? That's what I'm asking you tonight. To me, he's closer to Eli Manning's career than John Elway's career, right? That's to me. So you tell me, okay? You tell me. Is Aaron Rodgers considered one of the all-time greatest QBs ever? That's my question of the day. I'm going to give away a buffet a day on the Nate Brown Show, courtesy of our friends at the Pizza Ranch. We served up the free buffets last week. We'll do it again this week on the text line. If you want to enter our chance to win a free buffet at the Pizza Ranch in Brandon or East 10th Street, Sioux Falls location, go to the text line, 605-720-1067. Answer our question of the day on the Nate Brown Show, and you could win our buffet a day. We'll text you if you get in on this tonight. With one Super Bowl title, I think that's... I'm not going to solely say it's the Super Bowls, but I am going to say I just see that he got to the playoffs. He threw some touchdown passes. He didn't take the Packers as far as he should have throughout his illustrious career. That's what I see. I mean, you got to think about John Elway. Not only did he win those, at the end, but he got to Super Bowls before that numerous times. So I do not put Aaron Rodgers, if you're going to start a list, I don't know if he'd make my top 10. All right, I'm going to have to do some homework. I've given myself homework for the Nate Brown Show, my top 10 QBs of all time. This might be fun. We'll wait. We got busy stuff happening with the playoffs and all that stuff. So as I thought about it, just natural, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is one of the all-timers. A great quarterback, not one of the all-timers in the league. And I'm probably in the minority on that. That's my guess, but you tell me. 605-720-1067. Listener text, Packers wasted Rodgers' talent. He goes to the Super Bowl and wins in his second year, and then nothing. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. Listener text, Aaron's a step below all time. Aaron's a step below all time. Listener text that just flew in. Listener text, four-time MVP. Four-time MVP with no other Hall of Fame players. So, and that's what I mean. You say, look at these seasons he's had. But again, Lamar Jackson's a two-time MVP already. And I mean, people would say Lamar Jackson. Oh no, don't even think about that. He's a two-time MVP already. Lamar Jackson, we're not even thinking he's even close to Aaron Rodgers, right? But Lamar's got two MVPs. He might get a couple more. It's good. One of the all-time greatest ever. I can't do it. I cannot go there. Let's go to the poll question on Twitter and see where people land on Aaron Rodgers. That might have been his last game last night. Ended in bad fashion, and then he headed out of the press conference in Aaron Rodgers style, kind of annoyed. That's just the way that rolls. Is his career overrated just in general, the big picture career? I think what I mean by overrated, the one Super Bowl run for me is not enough for everybody that says his talent is, you hear these guys, they say, one of the best QBs you've ever seen. He's just so smooth. He's so good. One of the best QBs you've ever seen. I'm not there. I am not there. Let's see. Listener text, I see him more like Russell Wilson. Extended his career too long and then starts looking worse. That's a good call. I think, to me, Aaron Rodgers, I just said it, a couple of guys. Aaron Rodgers is closer to Russell Wilson career than to Joe Montana. That's easy, right? Aaron Rodgers is closer to Eli Manning. Eli got a couple of Super Bowls with the Giants. Nice career. I mean, people are debating if Eli Manning was a great quarterback. People put Aaron Rodgers so much higher than Eli. I mean, it's not even close. I'm saying it is. He's closer to Eli Manning than he is John Elway. So that's what I mean by that. Let's see. Rodgers is amongst the goods, not the greats. Listener text, 605-720-1067. Make your voice known on the text line. We'll put you in our drawing tonight for a buffet to the Pizza Ranch. Listener text, you'd be more than happy to start a franchise with Rodgers, but he would definitely not be the top pick. Okay? Couple more. I wouldn't say he was one of the best quarterbacks ever in the league, but I would say he was one of the best passers. Okay, very interesting. Listener text, when you're talking titles, then where do you have Dan Marino? That's a good one. That is a good one. Dan Marino's, you would say he's one of the all-time greats, right? But Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, hard one for me. Similar. I think similar. I think we blew up Aaron Rodgers so much, though. I mean, we've just blown up his career. You would think that he won numerous Super Bowls and just had this run, and he really hasn't. I mean, we think Aaron Rodgers, we almost put him in the category of Tom Brady. I've had people tell me, who's the better true quarterback? The true quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? And it's not even close, guys. People argue about that. Who's the greatest pure quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? It's not even close. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Listener text, I don't like him personally, but pure talent, he's probably above Tom Brady and best all time. No, I can't. That's why I can't do that. I just got that listener text just now. He's not better than Tom Brady, not even close. Not even close. Couple more. Rodgers has won 4 MVP awards. That's the second most all-time behind Peyton Manning. John Elway only won 1. Now, you're not trying to tell me you just stepped over the line. You're trying to tell me Aaron Rodgers is better than John Elway? We've lost it. We have officially lost our path. All right, you guys are good. You're good, but we got a couple of people that have lost it. Lister text, his playoff appearances are what keep him out of the top tier. Yes. Now we're talking. Welcome back. No success. No deep success. One Super Bowl for all that talent. If he's the greatest of all talent of all time, then what happened? He had some good teams. What happened? So I do not put Rodgers in my category of greatest, one of the greatest of all time. I don't. Chris Halleck covered his last season potentially. Chris Halleck's the beat writer for the Steelers, DK Pittsburgh Sports. He's had a busy day. We're going to get him live on South Dakota Sports Talk Show coming up from Pittsburgh.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the fight outside, you don't have time for that. Damn, 8 we call a place like that.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown
Hey, welcome back in. Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Just getting going on a Tuesday. Big news out of Pittsburgh. That's the headquarters for the big news in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, is he done? That was the talk and all the cameras and all the media coverage last night. Is Aaron Rodgers done? And then today, Mike Tomlin steps away from the Steelers after 19 seasons. Big news out of Pittsburgh. Follow all the coverage, Steeler fans. DK Pittsburgh Sports. Great local company. These guys are tearing it up. I've been following them a lot. DKPittsburghSports.com. Steelers beat writer. He's on this. Chris Halleck's on tonight, live from Pittsburgh. Chris, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. How are you?
Good. How are you, man? I appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks for hopping in. Steeler fans all over the country, and there's a lot here in South Dakota even, and the news was quick. It's like Steelers lose, they're done, and then the Tomlin news today. So as you followed this team, what did you think when that came out today, Chris, that Tomlin's taking a break? What did you think?
It's shocking. I mean, there's no two ways around that. It's still pretty shocking, even if you begin to kind of look at, in hindsight, and you can kind of see some of the signs that are pointing toward it. It's still one thing to think it'll happen, and then it's another thing to think, or to actually see it actually happen, to see the breaking news cards all over social media of Mike Tomlin stepping down as the Steelers head coach. He was the longest tenured head coach in the NFL. He had just gone 10-7, won an AFC North championship. But when you take full context into everything, they've gone 9 straight seasons without a playoff win. He's lost 7 playoff games in a row, which is tied with Marvin Lewis for the longest streak in NFL history for a coach. There are some. It was not trending in the right direction for the Steelers or Mike Tomlin. So, like I said, when you take all the information and you contextualize it, okay, you can understand it happening, but it's still pretty shocking to see it actually happen.
Which way do you think? What more happened here? Mike Tomlin kind of burned out, wants a breather, or discussions late here in the year with him and the Steelers saying maybe we should take a little break? What happened, do you think?
I really feel like this is more on Tomlin than it is on the Steelers. I mean, listen, the Steelers, I'm not saying that there have been zero discussions or zero thoughts in Art Rooney II's head about, what if or hey, what do we need to do differently? But the fact of the matter is the Steelers just don't fire head coaches. They don't. And he had 2 years. He still has 2 years left on that contract. It runs through 2027. Every single time, Art Rooney II has met with select reporters at the end of seasons, he has maintained faith in Mike Tomlin. This really feels like, especially because if Tomlin's stepping down, which is what this is, and this happens 14 hours after the Steelers walk off the field at Acrisure Stadium, you don't just walk away from a job you've had for 19 years and been successful at it. He's won a Super Bowl there, and you don't just willy-nilly 14 hours later decide, yeah, I'm done. This had to have been more on Tomlin than on the Steelers having conversations or him or Tomlin feeling forced out in any way. I don't feel like that's I really felt like this was Tomlin's job to have until he decided he didn't want it anymore.
Chris Halleck joins us, Steelers beat writer for DKPittsburghSports.com. What was Tomlin like covering the team for you? What's Coach Tomlin like?
It's fun. It's an adventure. You have to phrase your questions in specific ways to get an answer, and you don't usually ever want to ask a question to try to get an answer that you want. But if you're looking for information, if you're I'm writing an article or I'm writing a story on a specific topic, I need an answer. I need an answer that's more than 4 words long. So you phrase your questions in ways that you know he's going to provide you an answer that you can really do something with. But he was, especially I think not necessarily about the Tuesdays during the season where he has his weekly press conference. I also think about covering him at like the owners' meetings or covering him at events during the off season where we get to talk with him either on the record or off the record. I thought he was not the easiest coach to cover, but he was usually very honest. Not the most transparent, but that's kind of his job, is to not show you how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
For lack of a better phrase, but he was usually pretty blunt, pretty straightforward, and when you're a reporter, you'll take that every time.
Okay, I want to see what's next for the Steelers here. I mean, what do? You try and get John Harbaugh? Is that crazy?
I don't know if John Harbaugh's the guy. Listen, the last 2 hires the Steelers have made have been Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin, and when they were hired, they were young. They were defensive coaches. Mike Tomlin had only been a defensive coordinator for a year with the Vikings before he got hired by the Steelers to be their head coach. So based off of precedent, I'm looking at young defensive coaches. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Chris Shula with the Rams. I'm looking at Marcus Freeman possibly at Notre Dame. I'm looking. Now Brian Flores a little bit. Not quite as young, but still a defensive coach. I'm looking more at that. The Steelers have valued defense for a long time. And not saying that you can't find success doing that. Look at what DeMeco Ryans has done in Houston and the way he's turned that team around through not just drafting C.J. Stroud, but really rebuilding that defense into now it being the number 1 unit in the entire NFL. Look at what Mike McDonald has done in Seattle. I feel like you can get a really strong defensive head coach that can come in and make their mark. But I would think, based off of precedent, that the Steelers would lean more toward a younger coach and more on the defensive side of the ball. But you never know. But that would be where I would lean toward right now.
A couple more quick ones. I'll let him run. Follow him at DKPittsburghSports.com. It's Chris Halleck, Steelers beat writer, live from Pittsburgh. He's on X at Chris Halleck. So they won a Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin. He got to another one and lost. And then it's been playoff appearances all the time. No losing record. I mean, this is remarkable. But ever since Ben Roethlisberger, not much there as far as deep runs, any playoff success. That seems like the downfall of Mike Tomlin after Big Ben. Nobody came through.
Yeah, I really, that's a pretty good way to kind of sum it up. I mean, they get to the Super Bowl in 2010 season. February 2011 is the actual game. They lose to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And since then, it's been the Tebow game. It's been another loss in Denver. It's been getting your doors blown off by the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. It's losing the Blake Bortles and the Jaguars at home. It's getting your doors blown off by the Browns at home during the COVID year. It's getting your doors blown off by the Chiefs. A lot of doors being blown off in the playoffs. It's not just losses. It's huge losses. Before last night, they had been outscored 63-0 in the first quarter of the 6 previous playoff games. And, last night, they were actually up 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. So you're like, hey, the trend is shifting a bit, but it's still being outscored 63-3 in 7 straight, in the first quarter of 7 straight playoff games. So it wasn't just the fact that they were losing games. They were getting embarrassed. They never led for a single snap in the second half of these 7 games in a row. That's a problem, So yes, it definitely got on the uglier side over the last 9 years of Tomlin's tenure, for sure.
Tomlin's out in Pittsburgh. He's stepping down. Do you think these reports are accurate that he could get into broadcasting, so stuff like that, being an analyst or something on a studio show?
I think Tomlin can do whatever he wants to do. I feel that, you know, if he wants to do something different for a year and do some broadcasting, do, you know, whatever, become, you know, one of the pregame, you know, the NFL Today guys on CBS or, you know, whatever, he could do that. You know, he could go the Bill Cowher route. He could go the Sean Payton route and, you know, do broadcasting or TV for a year and then go right back into coaching. I know how much Tomlin loves coaching. You can see the passion in it. You can see how much he cares, how much he pours into it. It's also a lot of stress. He's at a different era of his life. His kids are grown now. So who knows what he wants to do? He might just want to, you know, say, hey, listen, I want to take a year and just evaluate, just to see how I feel. How does it feel to not coach for the first time for him?
Yeah.
Probably longer than I've been alive. In terms of like how long not just he's coached, but just been part of a football team. So, listen, I really feel like Tomlin is in a position where he can do whatever he wants, because if he signals to the NFL that, hey, I want to coach, the teams will come lining up to bring him up as the head coach.
Okay, Chris, before I let you run, Aaron Rodgers left that press conference last night. Kind of annoyed. He's like, I've talked about Mike Tomlin. I'm out of here. See ya. Is that the last we've seen? You followed Aaron. You covered it. You were there every day. You think that's it for Aaron Rodgers? Do we have any idea if he plays another game in the NFL?
I don't know about the NFL, if he's just done. I don't think he's coming back to Pittsburgh, though, now that this has happened. You know, Aaron said it several times whenever he first signed. A big reason why he signed with the Steelers was because of Mike Tomlin. And he talked, and you know, he was annoyed that he, you know, was asked about it again, because he had talked about it quite a bit, how much respect he had from Tomlin, how much he liked Tomlin. He talked about it quite a bit during his time in Pittsburgh. Now that Tomlin's not here, what does he have to come back here to do? To be part of a completely new regime, a new era of Steelers football, for better or worse. It's going to be new. It's going to be a new coach. There's going to be new coordinators. At least I would think. I mean, Tara Lawson is his contract is up, and Arthur Smith only has 1 year, and Arthur Smith might get a job somewhere else if he can land the head coach job with the Titans. You know, who knows? But I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is completely done. I would, if I were a betting man, I'd say probably. But with the Steelers, I have a hard time seeing him come back now that Tomlin's gone.
DKPittsburghSports.com. If you haven't hit the site, Steeler fans, that's the best one in Pittsburgh. Steelers beat writers Chris Halleck on a busy day, man. Thanks for coming on the Nate Brown Show. I appreciate it, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Take care. Chris Halleck on tonight, DKPittsburghSports.com. Steelers beat writer on a busy day in Pittsburgh. Find him on X at Chris Halleck. You can follow him there. Pittsburgh fans, you got it. DKPittsburghSports.com. Love local companies doing great work and having great workers. Chris Halleck on tonight from Pittsburgh. So, Aaron Rodgers, you know what people have thrown out today, right? Do you guys know? Anybody? Aaron Rodgers, what does he do? He either retires or plays for, say it with me, the Vikings. Thor Nystrom covers the Vikings. Does he believe this? He's with Score North of the guys in the Twin Cities. Thor's coming up next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Does your home have a crawl space? When cold weather arrives, that can mean cold floors, frozen pipes, and higher energy bills. Protect your family and keep the cold air out this winter with Expert Crawl Space Sealing by Blackburn Basement Systems. Sealing keeps your crawl space clean, protects pipes, and insulates your home so floors are warmer and energy bills are lower. A sealed crawl space means a nicer home. Don't wait. Call Blackburn Basement Systems today.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Attention football fans, the BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort has it all. Watch your team on massive high-definition screens while enjoying live betting. Keep some skin in the game even when the odds don't go your way. Enter Jack's Second Chance Mulligan Drawing by dropping your losing ticket for a shot at up to $200 in Cadillac cash every week. Satisfy your craving with mouth-watering or choose from 4 other food vendors, all while sipping on your favorite drinks. The BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. How will your game play out?
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at dakotadiscountrv.com.
Mr. Liquor in Rapid City would like to thank their customers for making last year an overwhelming success. Know that in 2026, Mr. Liquor will continue to provide the area's best selection of wine, spirits, and ice-cold beer with unmatched customer service. Look for even more exclusive Mr. Liquor barrel picks and rare allocated bourbons in the coming months. Plus, check out their Facebook page for monthly savings specials on your favorite brands. Thanks again for your business from Mr. Liquor South off Catron next to Walmart and Mr. Liquor West on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
As a rancher in western South Dakota, you know the meaning of hard work. From working cattle to working in the field, you know that the job begins before dawn and can last into the night. You also know that at the end of the day, it's more than just work. It's a way of life. When it comes to banking, you need a bank that values your time and is committed to your growth. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Hey, welcome back in The Nate Brown Show live. Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City, South Dakota Sports Talk Show every afternoon drive. Appreciate you being here, making this show possible. We'll talk high school basketball with the St. Thomas More boys basketball coach tonight. Tony Young is in. Tony Young taking over for Dave Hollenbeck, and Cavalier boys in good shape. They've got a big matchup tonight. Tony Young's coming up. We'll go to The Athletic as well. National columnist for The Athletic, Jerry Brewer's in tonight. Jerry Brewer, senior columnist for The Athletic. He's covered the NFL a long time. Big news out of the NFL with Tomlin stepping down. Is that it for Aaron Rodgers or not? Well, let's get to this guy then. Thor Nystrom covers the Vikings in the NFL draft. He's with the team at Score North. Great Vikings coverage from Score North. Thor, welcome back on. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you doing?
Good, man. Let me ask you right away. This might get you wound up, but I want to get you wound up. Colin Cowherd saying it. People are saying it. I just had Chris Halleck on from Pittsburgh, the Steelers beat writer, and I asked him, is that it for Aaron Rodgers? He said, that's it in Pittsburgh. He said, I don't know if that's it for Aaron Rodgers. Colin Cowherd said, why not the Vikings? And what say you?
I don't know why the equation with regards to that, how that would have changed from a year ago. We all saw Rodgers down the stretch. We saw him in the playoff game. And then, so where he's at right now, the game is obviously depreciated, but he's also not a stylistic fit with Kevin O'Connell with where he's at right now, right? Like the offense that Aaron Rodgers can run now, it's throwing the ball right after the snap within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. That is Kevin O'Connell's waking nightmare, a quarterback that won't hang in the pocket and then throw the ball down the field. You just don't see as much with that with Rodgers anymore. It's a lot of changing the receivers' routes before the snap. That's also something that O'Connell wouldn't love. I don't think that there's a coincidence that they did not take Aaron Rodgers last year when Aaron Rodgers wanted to play for the team. And again, I don't know why it would have changed this time around.
Okay, so you're talking scheme, you're talking style, that type of deal. Is it valid that they were like, no, we're going to go with J.J. McCarthy. We're not going to screw this up with Aaron Rodgers here as well. Isn't that a factor from not ruining a young QB's chances?
Yeah, I think so. Last offseason, the slot that the Vikings had for that sort of QB2 or the veteran mentor kind of a guy, they wanted a guy that, sure, he'd come in and compete, but probably they were going to start as QB2. It's the explicit reason why Daniel Jones took $1 million less to sign with the Colts, which shocked the Vikings, but the explicit reason was he thought he had a better shot to start with Indianapolis. The Vikings didn't want to sign Rodgers because then the reasons I just stated, but in addition, then you would have to start him probably, and then block the 22-year-old who was coming off the season-ending injury. So I think you're going to have a similar mindset with the Vikings this year, heading into the offseason, that they did at the start of last offseason, where they had that $12 to $14 million earmarked for the veteran quarterback to bring in. Last offseason, it was Daniel Jones. This offseason, Kirk Cousins is a guy who's been bandied about that I think would make a lot of sense for that if he gets released. Geno Smith is another guy I think could potentially be a possibility there. Aaron Rodgers, I just don't see it. I just don't think he's a fit for how Kevin O'Connell wants to play offense. So that one, I don't see that as much.
Thor Nystrom on tonight from Minneapolis. Score North covers the Vikings and the NFL draft. Find him on X at ThorKU. So what do you think just about Aaron Rodgers and where his career goes? Do you think he's done?
I think he's done. Yeah. Again, the game is just depreciated so much. It was tough to watch him on Monday night against Houston, and good for him for playing out the last couple of years. The Jets, the Steelers, he wanted to keep playing, and he did. Is Aaron Rodgers one of the 30 best quarterbacks walking the earth anymore? I don't think so. I don't know who would think that he is after what we've seen. So, yeah, this is a case where you kind of want the guy to walk off into the sunset. Like Adam Thielen's an example here locally of a guy who retired a year too late, and his skills left him, and it was tough to watch him on the field this year. I think Aaron Rodgers ought to retire.
Okay, so my question of the day, and I have a feeling on this. I'm probably in the minority, but people, some agree with me, some are disagreeing today. My question of the day is, where does Aaron Rodgers land for you as part of, do you put him in a category, you say, all-time great QB the NFL has ever seen, one of the all-time greats? Is that the definition to you?
100%, yeah. He's got to be on that list. I don't know that I put him at the top of it, but if you're doing a Mount Rushmore, I think he's got to be up there.
Really?
I know people people nitpick him about the playoffs, and that's fair, but there's some team and roster construction with that. The longevity and the excellence that Aaron Rodgers had over all those years, yeah, you have to put him way up there at the top of all-time great quarterbacks, I think.
Okay, I'm going to respect your opinion. I'm telling you, I said he's closer to Eli Manning than he is to John Elway, and that's unfair?
It's close. I'm not putting him above a John Elway. But yeah, I think I probably have him closer to Elway than Manning. But I understand where you're coming from.
Okay, all right. I'm playing it out. Thor Nystrom's on tonight. Score North, talking Vikings and a little Aaron Rodgers. So let's get to it then. Give the Vikings fans that are listening tonight, Thor, a reason to be happy and positive about J.J. McCarthy's return next year.
Well, I think, the situation couldn't have gone worse with the injuries to start the season. Christian Darrisaw, Jordan Addison being out of the lineup. Then you start to have other offensive line issues and the timing with the receivers and everything. Your first year back, and then, of course, you suffered the injury in the third quarter of your second game back after missing the season. It can't be any worse. The development, obviously, is going to help out McCarthy being another year older, but you're going to have timing with your receivers this year. This coming season, and the offensive line should be a lot better. Christian Darrisaw was in and out of the lineup all season, and when he was in the lineup, dirty little secret, Christian Darrisaw did not play well this year. There's questions about the training staff and how, were they pushing Darrisaw to play before he was ready, or what was going on there? That stuff's sort of a black box for us, but all that stuff conspired to make the offensive line play poor this year. You have more continuity next year heading into that season, and you have a full offensive line. I think that their projected starting 5 offensive linemen, I think, played an aggregate of 50 snaps together, something like that, just this paltry number. You're going to see the offense move better next year, and the Vikings are going to do a better job of getting an insurance policy. I think when you do the post-mortem of this past season and where did it go wrong, you can't avoid things like the suspension that Addison had. You can't avoid the things like the injuries, but if they had just gotten the Daniel Jones contract done, you would have saved the season. The Vikings would have made the playoffs, I think. They finished a half of a game out. The lack of a QB2 was a big issue last year. They will rectify that, but McCarthy will be better too.
Okay. I want to get your read on Brian Flores. Do you think the Vikings can hang on to him? He's had a history there with the league and head coaching interviews and some of that stuff. He's a candidate. Can the Vikings hang on to him?
I think Brian Flores is gone, and I've been saying this now for weeks. I don't think it's a coincidence that Brian Flores did arguably the NFL's elite defensive coordinator, certainly top 3, however you cut it, that he goes into this offseason without a contract. That generally does not happen. They were setting up this scenario, I think, where Flores is going to coach out this past season. And then probably go elsewhere. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. They're sort of putting it out there of, Brian, he's looking at for his head coaching opportunities. He's only officially been booked, I believe, for 1 interview. It might be 2 now, but it's one or the other. There has been sort of tepid interest around the NFL in that, at least for booking him for interviews now. I don't think he's going to get a head coaching job. I think he's going to leave for a lateral defensive coordinator job with another organization.
What's the story there, Thor? You got to fill me in. Flores' defense has been good. Why would the Vikings say, all right, take care?
It has nothing to do with the football side of things. The football side of things, I think, speaks for itself, and any organization would want to have him in that capacity. But there's, working at any business, you work. There's going to be interpersonal things. There's going to be relationship dynamics and stuff like that. Brian Flores has butted some heads with some people and some stuff behind closed doors. That, stuff like that, it's not as quantifiable, obviously, as the on-field stuff, and it's stuff that you don't see, but it's stuff that goes into decision-making with every company, the Vikings being no exception. I think that's the reasoning of why the contract extension wasn't done before now and why it sets up this possibility that he can leave for a lateral job, and I almost think that was the plan.
Score North Vikings NFL Draft. Thor Nystrom in tonight from the Twin Cities. One more here. It's a headline today, and then it got buried by the Tomlin news. Jordan Addison arrested early Monday morning, misdemeanor trespassing. There's other stuff. We've seen a couple more times. What's the deal with Jordan Addison here? What are the Vikings going to do?
This has become a serious problem. It was already a serious problem before now. Today, my reaction to it, I saw it right away, and are you kidding me? Jordan Addison now has been arrested 3 different off seasons already in the NFL. His career just started, but he's already been arrested 3 different. This being the 3rd one, and not only that, you had he was suspended the first 3 games this season. Then the Vikings go on that European road trip for the 2 games. Jordan Addison was MIA one of those days, and they had to suspend him for the start of one of those 2 games in Europe, where I forgot if it was the first series of the first quarter but they hadn't announced anything, and then he just wasn't out there. And then they got asked, O'Connell got asked in the postgame, why wasn't Addison out there to start the game? Well, he got sat down because of that. Because you have these things, and this has become a pattern with Jordan Addison. And now you have to seriously be concerned and worried about this. You can't rely on him. So the equation for the Vikings before, you have Speedy Naylor, the wide receiver 3. He's an impending free agent, and I think the thought was you let Speedy go, and then you let Addison try to rebuild his trade value this coming season, because last year he wasn't good on the field either. He had one of the highest drop rates in the entire NFL when he got back. He tried to let him rebuild the trade value. But now, even though Addison has tanked his trade value even further by getting in trouble once again, would you consider selling low, the lowest price you possibly could on Addison now, just to get him out of the building, and then you can turn around and re-sign Naylor? I think that's sort of the calculus right now. But yeah, if Addison, and we have to see, we don't have a lot of information on this, but the NFL, when they start suspending you for this stuff, they accelerate the penalties. So I don't know what is going to come out of this. We only really know that it had to do with the casino. We don't have a ton of details right now. So we'll have to wait that out. But yeah, the team was already seriously looking at the wide receiver room, and that decision when it comes to Naylor, that decision when it comes to Addison. Did you want to pay him in the first place? If not, you're going to have to trade him this offseason, next offseason. What's the trade value going to be? This definitely factors even more into that equation.
Thor Nystrom, one of the best Vikings guys there is, covers the Vikes NFL draft for the guys at Score North. They got it going in the Twin Cities. Find him on X at ThorKU and Score North. Thor, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Nate.
Appreciate it. Thor Nystrom from Score North, Twin Cities, ScoreNorth.com, covers the Vikings and the NFL draft. Good stuff from Thor. Kind of like a big thing from Thor just now. He's thinking Brian Flores, the D coordinator who had a nice defense, might just be done. I mean, he's getting head coaching interview. I thought I saw a report from the Ravens. See, the Ravens may be interested in Flores, but Thor Nystrom saying, I don't think Flores even comes back to the Vikings, maybe even if he doesn't get a head coaching job. Well, I just saw Kevin O'Connell say they're trying to work on a contract for him. So his contract's expiring. Are they trying to work on a contract or not? So stay tuned on that for the Vikings. And then Jordan Addison arrested early Monday morning, 3:46 in the morning, Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. What are you doing at 3:46 in the morning? What are you guys doing? I don't know. Misdemeanor charge of trespassing an occupied structure. I don't know what that is. But 3:46 in the morning. Not waking up early for coffee, I have a feeling. But coming right back, let's go to the question of the day. I want to know if you think Aaron Rodgers, you say Aaron Rodgers, and do you say one of the all-time great QBs ever? It's the debate of the day. It's our question of the day. What do you say? Aaron Rodgers, one of the all-time great QBs ever or not? 605-720-1067 will come around the backside.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. What a debate we're having about Aaron Rodgers. His career might be done. We're not sure, right? That's the Aaron Rodgers way. We're not sure. And by the way, settle in. You're not going to find out about Aaron Rodgers till like July. So settle in. Just keep debating. What the debate is tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Packer fans, I want to hear from you. Viking fans, I think we're hearing from you. And then football fans, football experts in South Dakota here on the Nate Brown Show. The question of the day is Aaron Rodgers considered one of the all-time greatest QBs ever? That's kind of a tough phrase. It's a tough phrase because, like, what does that mean? Top 10? Does that mean top 10? I got a listener text here from a Packer fan. And this is interesting. This is kind of interesting. Listener text on the text line. That's our question of the day, by the way. We're giving away a free buffet at the Pizza Ranch, a buffet a day on the Nate Brown Show. Question of the day. You just answer it at 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. Listener text. We'll pull out a winner for a buffet at the Pizza Ranch in Brandon or East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Listener text, this is a Packers fan. Rodgers is top 5 regular season QB of all time. But if you have to take in the playoffs and Super Bowls, then he's not better than Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, or even Matthew Stafford. Very interesting. So regular season's like, oh, great. MVP, 4 MVPs. Has the most, most touchdown passes in the playoffs, I think. Didn't get him enough wins, but nonetheless. So there's been performance there. I have a tendency to say his career, how people talk about him, is more overrated than like Joe Montana, okay? He's not John Elway. He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Joe Montana. He's not Steve Young. He's just not. And he's really not Tom Brady. Please, guys. Listen, you're making me stick up for Tom Brady. It's a sad day today. But what does the audience say? Let's see. We got some John Elway haters coming in tonight. I don't know why that is, but listener text, Elway had a poor losing record in Super Bowls, 2-3. Not an all-time great when he had no Hall of Famers on the team. Rodgers is 1 for 1 in the Super Bowl. Well, yeah, Elway had 5. Come on now. Let's see. Rodgers had 1. I don't like that. Listener text, this is a different Elway hater tonight. John Elway had a weak AFC and never had to go up against a Brady. Well, I mean, nobody had to go up against a Brady except for the people that did, right? Peyton Manning, essentially. Patrick Mahomes, even there, got beat, didn't he? And so you're going to, let's see, listener text. Who's the better QB, the career, Phillip Rivers or Rodgers? Now be careful. Now you're going to make me stick up for Aaron Rodgers. Be careful. Let's not bring Phil into this. I have a listener response from Dylan. Dylan, this is interesting. He just gave me his top 13 quarterbacks. I don't know why he went 13, but he just gave me his top 13 quarterbacks. Is this fair? This is from Dylan, Nate Brown Show listener, okay? Number 1, Tom Brady. Number 2, Joe Montana. Number 3, Peyton Manning. Number 4, John Elway. 5, Mahomes. 6, Steve Young. 7, Dan Marino. 8, Terry Bradshaw. 9, Roger Staubach. 10, Aaron Rodgers. Comes into the top 10 barely. And then he went with Brett Favre 11, Troy Aikman 12, Bart Starr 13. No Drew Brees, no Phillip Rivers, no Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson made 2 Super Bowls, by the way. So what does the poll results say? Does Aaron Rodgers get in the category of one of the all-time greatest QBs ever for you? Poll result, let's update it. 52% of you are voting yes, that's a no-brainer. Aaron Rodgers, one of the all-time greatest QBs ever. And that I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. I really believe Aaron Rodgers, the hype has been way more hype than results. Way more hype. Oh, it's a pretty ball. Oh, it's smooth. Oh, it looks good. Oh, it's this. I don't care. You couldn't count on that guy in the playoffs at all. I mean, that's why you can't even put him in the same stratosphere as even Mahomes and Brady. You can't put him in the same stratosphere, guys. So 52% of you say Rodgers is a no-brainer, all-time greatest QBs ever. 48% of you say no, his career is overrated. Tough debate tonight on the Nate Brown Show. If you want to answer our question of the day, sound off on the text line. Sign you up for a buffet at the Pizza Ranch, potentially. 605-720-1067. Is Aaron Rodgers one of the all-time greatest QBs ever? Is that it for Aaron? I have a feeling it is. I do have a feeling now it is. He's slowed up. He was looking rough to me. Coming right back. Speaking of rough, why did a youth hockey game break out into a brawl? An all-out fist fight, brawl. A youth hockey game. Kids 8 and under. This just popped over the weekend. We'll get to the bottom of it next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Yeah, can I get the taco burger value combo? That's a value? I know it's a taco and a burger, but come on. Yeah, I can find a better value right across the street. No, not at the bait shop, at the gas station. I can get a South Dakota Lottery scratch game for as little as $1. You can actually win thousands of dollars. Almost enough to eat here.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
This is a local voter. She keeps seeing ads, yard signs, opinions.
This is too complicated.
Then she actually learns what it means. Voting yes does not raise property taxes. It creates a destination with year-round shopping, dining, and entertainment. No surprise tax bill, just smart growth paying for itself. Once that clicks, it feels like an easy yes. Vote yes on January 20th.
Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Growth. See for yourself at teamrapidcity.com.
What makes a credit union different from a bank? At Highmark Credit Union, it starts with you. We're member-owned, not shareholder-driven. That means our earnings go back to you through better rates, lower fees, and personal service. Unlike big banks, we put people first. You're not just an account number, you're part of a community. Highmark Credit Union. Local, personal, and here for you. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson cell booster systems, and now Starlink and EchoStar internet systems. Starlink and EchoStar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, second hour ready to go on your drive home. Thanks for being here. Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live. Welcome in. Hope you've had a good day. Thanks for checking in on the Nate Brown Show tonight. KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Good guest lineup here. We're going to go high school with St. Thomas More boys basketball coach Tony Young checking in. They got a big matchup tonight. St. Thomas More boys, a team to watch in Class A. We'll talk to the head coach Tony Young, and then one of the great sports writers. He's covered the league a long time. Senior columnist for The Athletic, Jerry Brewer, is in tonight talking about big changes in the Steelers organization. Mike Tomlin stepping away after 19 seasons. That's the big headline of the day. And is Aaron Rodgers done? Is he done? And if he is, was his career overrated for all the hype? I mean, I've been told this guy's as good as Tom Brady. I have been told that. I just can't go there. So I'm gonna debate this one more day. And then we'll take a break till July when Aaron's still deciding whether to come out of the dark and join a team again or not. I don't know. We'll see. Jerry Brewer's coming up. I'm going to get his read on Aaron Rodgers and his career. Senior columnist for The Athletic. He's on the way. Hey, the vote is close tonight on the Nate Brown Show. If you're just checking in, getting in the car, you're on your drive home, 51% of the audience has voted on our Twitter poll saying that Aaron Rodgers is one of the all-time greatest QBs ever. Got to put him in the greatest QBs ever category, the all-time. 51% say yes, it's a no-brainer. 49% are saying no, his career really is overrated with one Super Bowl win. Some people on the text line checking in. Lister text, Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good in the playoffs over the years against my Cowboys. Still hard for me to put him in the top 10 ever, though. All right, fair. Lister text from a Packers fan. All of those saying Rodgers' career is overrated are Vikings fans or Bears fans. No Lions fans. He beat up the Lions for quite a while. Lister text, Rodgers being one of the greatest QBs? That's funny. Maybe the greatest crybaby. Wait, I take that back. The greatest crybaby is Mahomes. Nice. That's a good text. Good text. Both Mahomes is turning into a Hall of Fame crybaby. He is. I hate to break it to you. So keep that coming in. Is Aaron Rodgers, if he is done, is he you put him as one of the all-time greatest QBs ever? My phrase is this. I put Aaron Rodgers closer to Eli Manning and that career than John Elway, than Steve Young. So that's how I see that. Just career accomplishments, numbers, Super Bowls, overall career snapshots. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is more Matthew Stafford. Yeah, he's better. Rodgers is better than Stafford, but more Stafford, more Breeze, more Eli Manning than Steve Young, John Elway. Okay, that road. That's where I see it. Hey, speaking of seeing something, I couldn't believe this. So, and then a listener also sent this in, but I saw this over the weekend. I said, we're going to talk about this. And then I found out more information as it just comes out. Like, you have to look into stuff these days, right? Everything, videos are fake and everything. I thought this was real, and it turns out it was a real video. So it wasn't an AI video in sports, but so the video's real, but the setup was not real. What am I talking about? Youth hockey players. Have you seen this viral video yet? If you're on your phone, you're on Twitter, you're on these, you've probably seen it. There was a AHL hockey game in Pennsylvania over the weekend. Okay, AHL. We all know that affiliation here. So, AHL hockey game in Pennsylvania. During one of the period intermissions, okay, they invited out youth hockey teams to play a scrimmage. You see that at various hockey games, basketball, whatever. So, here's what happened on Saturday during this AHL hockey game in Pennsylvania. The 8 and under Central Penn Panthers youth hockey teams came out to play, and they just started brawling. So if you've seen the video, I had a listener send this in saying, this is wild. What if this happened in South Dakota? People would be like, what is going on? Yeah, so you can find the video. So find it for yourself. And watch this, because I watched it now last couple of days probably 5 times. And, no, this is 8 and under hockey players, so picture it. I'm trying to do that on the radio show tonight. Picture it. They played hockey for a little bit at one of the period intermissions. They're playing, and then all of a sudden somebody takes a swing at somebody. And then it's just an all-out brawl. You got the goalies leaving nets, and they're taking people down. There's actually fists being thrown, punches being thrown, body slams. I mean, this is absolutely wild. And the audience is kind of like, whoa, what? People are laughing. People are like, whoa, kids are getting taken down. It is a brawl. And so what has happened now? We have learned that this was actually a staged fight. So the Atlantic Hockey Association's in charge of youth hockey there. They're investigating this, trying to find out how would you have an 8U hockey teams out there during period intermissions playing a hockey game, and somebody set them up to do a brawl. Now, here's the thing on this. These are 8-year-olds and under. So you guys listening, can your 8-year-old determine, hey, I want you guys to brawl, but just have fun, like, just don't worry about it. Well, what if somebody ear holes me? Do 8-year-old kids have kind of the wherewithal to think, oh, it's just for fun. We're just goofing around here. And that's what I see. That's what I see in the video. So it's youth hockey players brawling. The fight was staged. I don't know if the audience knew it or not, but no adults intervened. They let them fight. I don't know. I saw a minute. I don't know how long the video went, but I saw a minute of the video. And there's goalies taking people down, and there's actually gloves off, and people are fighting. People are, I should say kids, not people. Kids actually fighting. So what am I getting at here? I thought the fight was bad enough. I mean, having 8U kids, and people were kind of thinking it was funny. I didn't think it was funny. I understand the hockey culture, tough. I mean, I understand. I don't think you see a bunch of youth fights. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hockey, I understand, has the fighting element. I get it. I understand. I've been to numerous hockey games, and I understand the entertainment side of that, the enforcers and the whole thing. I don't think you see it at youth hockey games, and then somebody, here's where I think it's worse even. The fight's bad enough. The Wild scene, the fight with 8 U kids, I think's bad enough. Whether you want to say, well, that's just hockey. Not youth hockey. That's not youth hockey. And here's the bad part. That actually somebody did set that up. I mean, who sets that up? This wasn't just for, I guess it was for kicks, but somebody could have gotten hurt. I would think one of these kids did get hurt. I don't know how this is going down, but they're doing an internal review right now, the Atlantic Amateur Hockey Association, promising to take action. And I'm trying to figure out, what in the heck is going on? So adults set this up and threw out an 8U scrimmage and then told them to fight. I don't know what we're thinking there. I have no clue what we're thinking there. And nobody really thought about, hey, we kind of have intense scenes at youth sports contests these days, you know, like where refs are getting attacked, you got fans fighting, you got kids getting yelled at as refs. I mean, the youth sports scene's intense anyway. And then we decide to stage an 8U hockey fight. I am baffled. Just absolutely baffled. Check the video for yourself. It wasn't just kicks and giggles. I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, we're kind of play fighting. They were fighting. And somebody set that whole thing up in Pennsylvania. Just absolutely bonkers. What are we doing? I mean, did somebody do it so we could get it and put it on Facebook? Yeah, look at this. Look at it go viral. Everybody wants to go viral these days. It is amazing. This is absolutely stupid. Jerry Brewer in next, senior columnist for The Athletic. One of the great guests. He's covered the league a long time. What does he say about Mike Tomlin stepping down? And is Aaron Rodgers done? What's his career? How should it be evaluated with the one Super Bowl title? Jerry Brewer from The Athletics in next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
All kinds of vehicles, all kinds of loans, all as low as 4.99% APR. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're here to help all kinds of people, just like you. Get moving. From truck drivers to van warriors, we got the right loan to fit your style with rates as low as 4.99% APR. Wherever the road takes you, start with BHFCU. Apply today at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818.
Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Where you buy your next pre-owned vehicle matters. And at Spearfish Motors, it matters to us too. And because of that, we don't buy our vehicles from auctions. Instead, we locally source our pre-owned inventory, trades from our friends, our neighbors, and people right here in our community. So you can feel confident knowing that the vehicle that you're driving has a known history. And that's what locally sourced really means. See us today at Spearfish GMC Cadillac or shop online at spearfishmotors.com.
Are creepy crawlers hanging around your house or maybe even in your house? Warren Chemical and Equipment Company has the answer for spiders, millipedes, crickets, sow bugs, and more. They carry professional-grade pest control products and applicators for do-it-yourself pest control, and they can advise you on how to use them. For professional hands-off pest control, call Warren Chemical and they'll handle your pest problems for you. Warren Chemical and Equipment Company. We kill bugs. Call us at 342-7644.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 31. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, winds out of the northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 52. Clear skies tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 35. Lots of sunshine Thursday with highs around 51. 33 Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 43 degrees.
Honey, would you hand me that chair leg, please?
The one from the mahogany dining room set or the oak chair from the living room set?
Oh, the oak ones. I think they smell better.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Feel that heat.
Honey.
Yeah.
Instead of burning the furniture in our house to stay warm, can't we just get replacement windows?
Honey, we've been through this. Those window companies subcontract the work out, and once they get started, well, good luck seeing them again.
Not if we use Renewal by Andersen. They only do windows, no subcontractors. Plus, they use certified master installers.
All they're going to do is go to a home repair store and pick something off the rack. Heck, I can do that. Oh, hand me that coffee tabletop, please.
No, they have in-home consultations, and they're 100% custom. Plus, they're energy efficient, low maintenance, and we won't have to burn any of our own furniture.
Okay, I'll call in the morning. In the meantime, do you still have that makeup table you had as a kid? I mean,
Not
it's
my
all
makeup
solid.
For a perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Andersen of South Dakota.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, it's always a great day in South Dakota. Say it with me. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio across the state. Thanks for being here. Thought-provoking sports talk from high school to college to the pros. We got you covered. If you miss any parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show's there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, really all the platforms. So wherever you get your podcast, search The Nate Brown Show, and then you don't miss any shows. You can listen on demand. Thor Nystrom joined us from Minnesota tonight, Score North, talking Vikings. He doesn't think Brian Flores is going to get a head coaching job. He doesn't think the Vikings will have him as the D coordinator either. That was big news out of Score North, Thor Nystrom tonight. We went to Pittsburgh, talked to Steelers beat writer Chris Halleck on the big news out of Pittsburgh. That's where I want to go with Jerry Brewer. Senior columnist is on tonight. He's with The Athletic. Longtime sports writer's done a great job. Jerry, welcome in. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate your time as always. So let's start with the big news of the day out of Pittsburgh. It's Mike Tomlin deciding to step away. So it's interesting because people are debating, did Tomlin decide to? Did the Steelers kind of have discussions like, well, maybe we're okay with this? What do you think? 19 seasons. Maybe Mike Tomlin just said, I'm going to take a break. Is this like a Sean Payton kind of thing? Does he get back in this maybe?
Yeah, he's not going to get immediately back in this because he's got 2 years left on his contract. And so the Steelers would want draft compensation for any franchise that wanted to come get him. And so I think that if you're Mike Tomlin and you wanted another job immediately, you would have forced the hand of Rooney and just said, hey, man, fire me, right? Or just kind of lead it in that direction. I kind of get the sense that even though John Harbaugh was fired, like it was pretty readily known that he wouldn't mind wanting to change. And so Tomlin could have kind of played it that way if he really wanted to get back in. I think he's tired. I think he needs a break and wants a break. And to be honest with you, man, I'm Nate. If a guy like that just settles down and looks up and smells the flowers for a little while, I'm not sure that he's going to be desperate to get back in. I mean, this dude might wind up being kind of like a John Madden who just realizes, hey, TV's pretty easy. There's not some great strain. I don't think there's any great guarantee that he gets back in. And Tomlin is just like a really particular, stubborn individual, and so it's going to have to be the right job for him to come back.
What do you think? You've been covering the league, the coaches. Tomlin's won a Super Bowl, went to another. hasn't had a losing record. So, like, what do we say about Mike Tomlin? What's going to be the phrase that we say about Mike Tomlin's career?
You're going to look at him and you're going to see an incredible stability, symbol of stability in a franchise known for stability. I think what he has meant to black coaches, being not just the longest tenured coach currently in the NFL, but by a wide margin, the most successfully longest tenured black coach in NFL history. What he means in general to the coaching profession, which is just one of just temporary, fleeting, full of transition, has been incredibly important. And I think there are obviously more creative minds, better pure strategists, maybe even better motivators. But when you put together the package of what it takes to lead a locker room of 53 big personalities and to manage up to a very, very particular organization who has its ways and will not stray for them, to be able to put all that together and raise the floor and keep a franchise like that competitive. People in Pittsburgh are spoiled, and a lot of people wanted to see him go. But what it has meant to be Mike Tomlin for these 19 years is remarkable. And I do think it's one of the more remarkable tales in NFL history. When you saw what that guy was like when he walked through the door at 34 years old, and now as he's leaving at 53, what he was able to accomplish and how it very much meets the standards of what the Steelers are about, and what it has meant in a coaching profession that gets more and more volatile by the year. You just have to commend him for what he was able to do. And just one last point on this, Nate. I know people are killing him for the last 9 years and for the fact that he lost his last 7 playoff games. But I will say this. The Steelers have just been terrible at finding a quarterback to replace Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
And the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career was about 3 years too long. And to not have a losing record through this transition when you have failed repeatedly to find a long-term solution at the most difficult and essential position in the NFL, if not all of professional sports, there's just some kind of magic to the way that this guy does it. And we love to look at the stars, but like to acknowledge that the floor hasn't fallen through on that franchise like it would for so many others, you have to commend Mike Tomlin for being able to keep things together.
Jerry Brewer on tonight, senior columnist for The Athletic. Find him on X at Jerry Brewer. Find his work at theathletic.nytimes.com/athletic. So I want to get your read if that's it for Tomlin for a while. Maybe it is for forever. I don't know, but we'll see. He's stepping down. Aaron Rodgers, all the cameras were on him last night. That was the first headline. Like, this might be it for Aaron Rodgers. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is done? We probably won't know until July, really. But what do you say?
Yeah, I don't know that there's many options out there left for Aaron Rodgers. I guess because of how things went in Minnesota and having a young quarterback who really couldn't get the ball to Justin Jefferson and their offense backsliding, that maybe Minnesota might look at him and say, okay, Kevin O'Connell can make this work for 1 year and give them one more year of development, at the quarterback position. But other than that, I don't see a natural fit that Aaron Rodgers himself would want to take. And so I think that Mike Tomlin stepping away is probably it for Aaron, because I think it was come back to Pittsburgh with Tomlin, and Tomlin did really well with him, and he liked Tomlin. And it worked about as well as it was going to work for how old Aaron Rodgers is. I felt like that was Aaron's best option, and that if Tomlin came back, Aaron Rodgers might run it back for one more year. But now I think he's just like, when is he going to announce his retirement? Is it going to be on Pat McAfee's show in 2 weeks, or is he going to wait a little bit later? But I would imagine that potentially before the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers will move on to the next phase of life.
Very interesting. I want to get your take. Aaron Rodgers won Super Bowl title. He's 1 for 1. And the rub there was, well, he couldn't get it done in the playoffs. 4-time MVP, all the numbers, all that. So where does Aaron Rodgers land as far as, do you put Dash all-time greatest QBs ever? Is he with the John Elways, the Steve Youngs? Is he there?
Yeah, he's definitely there. I mean, in terms of just individual talent, but we have to always define what's our criteria for greatest quarterbacks, right? It's just, to me, it's not always about just who won the most Super Bowls, right? And yes, I do think that Tom Brady, if we want to put all of the things that qualify as into the gumbo that is greatness. Is he the greatest quarterback ever, Tom Brady? Yes. Is he the most impressive quarterback that I've ever seen? No. Probably not even in the top 5 most impressive quarterbacks I've seen in terms of individual talent, which only furthers how great it was, how great Brady had to be, how crazy he was, maniacal about winning in order to win 7 championships. But Aaron Rodgers, I think, is to me, Nate, one of the top 5 most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen. When you think about how he could move in his prime, how elastic his arm was. I remember those days when he could have his top 3 wide receivers could be out, go on the road and win a game against a good Arizona defense, or he could throw a Hail Mary and win a game that he had no business winning. I do think that Aaron's stubbornness and how much he needed things to be his way cost him opportunities to win more Super Bowls, or at least make more Super Bowls, and that's going to be kind of this complicated part of his legacy. But I think without just kind of formally setting tiers, in my mind, I look at him, somewhere above where we would place Dan Marino, who certainly is in my top 5 most talented quarterbacks, and probably somewhere slightly below where I would put Peyton Manning, who is my favorite quarterback of all time, but can't be GOAT status over Brady and Joe Montana. So right there, I mean, if we have the greatest tier of quarterbacks, if we put them in 4 tiers, I'll probably put Aaron Rodgers in that third, second to third tier.
Jerry Brewer on tonight. I want your read on the current playoffs, Jerry. So you look NFC, you look AFC. Final 4 teams left. Who do you feel good about right now in the AFC and the NFC?
I feel good about none of them.
Is that right? Wide open?
I really do think it's wide open. I think any of these teams, except for the Niners, just because at some point how battered they are is going to get to them. I think they're more a spoiler than a team that I could see winning, four games that they would have to win the Super Bowl. I think any of the 8 any combination of this 8 could make it to the Super Bowl. I have no idea who I think is going to win it. I mean, I think that the Seahawks and the Rams are the best 2 teams. But if they get to meet in the NFC title game, one of them is going to knock each other out. I believe in the Patriots more than the others in the AFC. But I'm guessing, if I had to bet, I'd probably say Patriots and Bills and Seahawks and Rams and maybe a Bills-Seahawks Super Bowl is what I would be willing to put my money on. But also, Nate, if I put money on that, I would look at that as if I just set a $100 bill on fire because I have such little confidence that it's going to go down like that.
Well, I like that. Wide open. Final four teams left in the AFC and NFC. You say Bill, Seahawks, maybe. I said Seahawks, Broncos. Now, it'd be the two number one seeds. I said it before the postseason started. I went Seahawks, Broncos. We'll see where that goes. Denver gets Buffalo in the first game on Saturday. Jerry Brewer's on tonight, covers the league and more. Senior columnist. Find him at The Athletic. Good to have you, Jerry. I appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Anytime, man. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Jerry Brewer, great writer, senior columnist for The Athletic on South Dakota Sports Talk Show across the state here on the Nate Brown Show. Good stuff from Jerry. So he said Aaron Rodgers has to be one of the all-time greatest QBs ever. Right a little below Peyton Manning, a little above Dan Marino. How about that? Where you put my guy John Elway? Come on now. Let's be careful. Let's be reasonable. What's your answer here? Let's get an update on the question of the day. Let's see here. You got it? What's the poll results? What is it? Poll results. 51% of you say Aaron Rodgers should be a greatest QB of all time category. 51%. 49% say no, his career is really overrated with just the one Super Bowl title. All right, let's jump into high school basketball. From high school to college to the pros, there is a St. Thomas More basketball program that's been coached by Dave Hollenbeck forever. Now the St. Thomas More boys have Tony Young, and off to a great start. They got a big game tonight. We'll talk to the head coach for the Cavaliers coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our acclaimed replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Packed lineup tonight. Good stuff across the board. Some big news around the country, and we had it covered. Went out to Pittsburgh tonight. Talked to Chris Halleck, Steelers beat writer, live from Pittsburgh. Went to Minnesota. Some interesting stuff out of Minnesota. People throwing around Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers should go to Minnesota. Are we going to do this again? And we just had Jerry Brewer on tonight, senior columnist for The Athletic. Now, Jerry Brewer said he expects Aaron to probably retire and announce that before the Super Bowl. That's what he was talking about. So, great lineup tonight, and I think we've got him. I think we got him right now. We're talking high school to college to the pros, and this high school basketball program has been one of the best in South Dakota, and their head coach is Tony Young. St. Thomas More boys basketball. They got a matchup tonight. Are they ready? You bet. They've had a nice start to the year. It's Rapid City Christian. They're going to be playing at the School of Mines tonight. Head coach of the Cavalier boys, Tony Young, joins us on the Nate Brown Show. Coach, I think I have you. How are you?
Hey, going good. Thank you for your patience, me getting back to you here.
I appreciate that. Thanks for checking in. I know you're getting set for tonight. So I talked to you before the season when you got the job. You know St. Thomas More basketball. You've been there as an assistant. You knew the guys coming back. How do you feel about the start of the year? How do you feel right now?
You know, with all the adjustments and we made to the playbook, I'm real happy with where we're at. We got a lot of adjustments to work on yet, but tossing in a little bit of a new playbook and strategy on the offensive end has been a challenge, but the kids have responded well. We got a lot of high IQs on that end. The easy part is that our defensive mentality, that's unchanged. You know, the tone Coach Hollenbeck set 30 years ago with his team, that culture's staying put, and we can't alleviate from that. But, yeah, it's been a fun year to start. Learned a lot as a new head coach myself, stuff I got to get better at in the kids, and we're heading in the right direction.
St. Thomas More's only lost one game to Kearney, Nebraska, 74-70. That's it. So you guys have had really some big wins. Any that jump out to you that you said, hey, yeah, we might have a club here?
You know, the first game when we were going to go up against Thunder Basin, you know, that Gibby is such a good player, and I walked away from that defensively thinking, okay, we're keeping the stuff we got to keep. And then we go play that Kearney team, which, you know, they're a great team. Big school, great team, real physical. You know, we did not play real well, but I think that's because of the pressure that Kearney put on us. So even though that came as a loss, that's been one of the games that I've looked at, like, probably should help us out the most. So it wasn't even the win that I'm looking at. It's that one loss that's kind of sticking with us that we got to get better and be ready to take that first punch from the other team and come back swinging, and we just weren't ready that game.
St. Thomas More boys basketball head coach Tony Young joining us tonight. Before their matchup, it's at the King Center, the School of Mines. It's the Rapid City Christian matchup. We'll talk about that in a second. I do want to get your take on, you said, hey, we're learning the new offense. We're having to do some new things there. Some people think today's basketball, hey, you gotta be able to shoot the three. You got to put a lot of them up. What's your approach here? What does this new offense look like? What are you trying to get done?
You know, we've always been very, very structured over the years, and we still do have some structure in sets, but we've opened it up where we're letting the kids play a little more of the reads and what's the defense giving you. You know, we still kind of have a structured open motion style with some rules, but those rules are pretty loose for those seniors to make the right decisions and play, and that's been kind of fun to watch, and I've had a lot of good feedback on it. But like I said, there is some structure we have in the back pocket because they are kids, and sometimes they get a little Western and go off on their own, and we got to reel them back in, but I think they're doing a good job.
How would you say you played in Mitchell? That was structure. That was right. So how would you say you took that and said, okay, that was structure, but now here's my approach?
Yeah, structure. I think at Mitchell we won games and tournaments only scoring 28 points a game. So that's pretty structured. No, taking that into here is there's a way where you can have these kids kind of learn that higher intensity, fast-paced, open motion, but with discipline.
Yeah.
And it's real easy when you got a lot of good athletes for everybody to want to get theirs, and that's something that we just got to keep our thumb on and make them realize that the faster you get rid of the ball, the faster you're going to get it back. And that's been a learning curve for some of these kids, but they are catching on and realizing that sticky balls aren't going to work. We got to get it moving around, and you'll get it back.
How about the defensive side? You said Coach Hollenbeck was defense. You guys are defense. You have athletes here. Is it just man-to-man? You're just going to play intense defense.
Yep, just man-to-man, straight up, like the history of the Cavalier basketball program. We just come up straight on you, and there's times when we're outmatched. We might have to throw a little junk at you here and there, and I don't know if that'll come up this year or not. But right now, we got the guys just to go nose to nose, talk early, talk often, and just play that man-to-man pressure.
I do want to ask about the matchup tonight. So Rapid City Christian, last couple of years, that was a good team. The last few years, really good team. Maybe they're down a little bit. They're 5-4. What do you see from Rapid City Christian this year? They've had some good clubs. Coach Courtney does a good job.
If people look at their record and say, they're down this year. But, I've watched most all their games. They have a lot of moments that I don't think people realize how good they are. They're in a learning curve themselves, too. I mean, they got all new guys starting, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And they're pretty young. I believe they're all sophomores and juniors and maybe a senior. But their record is not something a person should look at when you play them. I mean, I'm watching the JV game right now. They play at one intensity at all levels. And if you're not ready for it, boy, they pop you in the mouth and you start the game down 10 points.
Yeah. Rapid City Christian, I'm telling you, St. Thomas More. Is this that's kind of a rivalry a little bit? The kids know each other. How does that play out?
That's built over the years, and you've been around. You've kind of seen it where, 10 years ago, they weren't really on the schedule, and then we got them on the schedule, and we kind of had the best of them for quite a few years. And then, as always, and this is with every rivalry, the tides turn for a couple years here and there, and the kids know how big this game is after us dropping the last 2 years to them. So it's time for them to step up, and it's time for the tides shift back to our side where we get the win. So that's what we're going to go for.
Okay, so tonight it's at the King Center. They moved the game to the King Center School of Mines. Rapid City Christian, St. Thomas More. Boys head coach Tony Young is on the Nate Brown Show getting you set tonight. Great start to the year for the Cavaliers. Only one loss in the record books. Now, later this week, I know you got game tonight. You got Custer coming up. Later this week, it's West Central. What do you notice from West Central and Dave Hollenbeck so far?
Boy, he's got them firing on a whole different level. I mean, that West Central team was loaded already, and then Coach Hollenbeck goes there and teaches them his style of defense, and he's turned them in. I mean, they just knocked off. People are saying they knocked off Sioux Falls Christian. They didn't knock them off. They just beat them. I mean, I think Sioux Falls Christian has that mentality where they're always the favorite. But if anybody watched that game, their defense is a whole new level, and that's why we got to not only worry about tonight and take care of tonight, but how do we use the intensity Christian's going to bring? Because on Friday, that's going to be a whole new level that we haven't seen in probably a few years.
Okay, do you have nerves in that game, or is that fun?
There's always going to be some nerves, especially when, Dave was our head coach. I've been with him for 18 years. Yeah, there's a little bit of nerves there, but I tell you what, it's fun. It's the good nerves. It's excitement. Dave and I are still chatting back and forth and always willing to help each other out. And obviously, as we get closer to this game, that's going to taper off a little bit. But by God, when we step on that court, I'm going to want to beat him. He's going to want to beat me, and we're going to get after it and have a good game, I hope.
Rapid City Christian, St. Thomas More first tonight at the King Center at School of Mines, and then later it's West Central STM coming up on Friday. Tony Young on tonight. Thanks for stepping aside, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot. Tony Young, St. Thomas More boys basketball head coach. He's got them rolling. Only one loss for the Cavalier boys. A lot of people thought STM, could they bring a good team back? They have. They got some guys. One of my top 5 teams every week. I put the St. Thomas More boys in my Class A top 5. And they've got West Central coming up later this week. The matchup with STM and their former coach, Dave Hollenbeck. Fun time of the year. Who's hot and who's not as we wrap up the show next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Bag huge savings on your painting projects at Menards. From your kitchen and bath to doors and trim, and even your ceilings. Dutch Boy has the perfect choice for your painting projects. Dutch Boy's Durafighter is a tough paint and primer that provides great scrub resistance and durability. Durafighter interior paint starts at $27.75 a gallon. Get an additional 15% savings on all Dutch Boy paints when you put it in the bag. See store for complete details.
Save big money at Menards.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for something you love to eat every day. Before I go grocery shopping, I print out a coupon for $1 off any Country Hearth, Village Hearth, or Artisan Hearth bread product. My favorite is Dakota Style 12 grain. My wife's breakfast go-to is a toasted Village Hearth English muffin. We can save $1 on each. Go to countryhearthbreads.com/coupons and print 1 or 2 out before your next shopping trip. And don't forget, Country Hearth, Village Hearth, and Artisan Hearth bread products are baked locally and delivered fresh daily.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows of off around 31. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 52. Clear skies tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 35. Lots of sunshine Thursday with highs around 51. 33 Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 43 degrees.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Hey, volleyball families, get ready to serve up some fun at the Wautiki Spike-tacular Volleyball Tournament February 13th through 15th at the Box Elder Event Center. Experience high-energy matches, glow-in-the-dark games Friday night, and exciting play all weekend long. Compete in 14U, 16U, or 18U divisions for a shot at the trophy. Stay and play with 25% off rooms at Courtyard by Marriott and water park passes included. Register now at thebox.live.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, let's do this. Who's hot and who's not every night at this time of the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Location in Brandon's outstanding. Great Fun Zone Arcade there. East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, home of everyone's favorite buffet, the Pizza Ranch. Who's hot and who's not tonight? Let's see. What do we got? In my Who's Hot category, Fox Sports had a huge winning weekend when it comes to Wild Card Weekend. San Francisco, Philadelphia on Fox, 41 million, the most watched telecast of the weekend. And then they got 28 million for Rams, Carolina, best Saturday afternoon wild card since 2011. NFL numbers just massive. I just saw Amazon had the biggest viewership ever, right? With Bears, Packers, ever. Biggest viewership ever on Amazon. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, well, I just saw the college coaches. They're getting together at the coaches conference, and so they vote on stuff. And they're voting, and the Division I Council is going to have to approve this. But you know how football red shirts used to, you red-shirted, you didn't play, Then you got to save a year. So you got like 5 years eligibility, but you couldn't play. Then they said you could play in 4 games and still keep your red shirt. Now the coaches today, they voted you could play in 9 games and still keep your red shirt. There's reasons they're doing this. Why don't they just say, you can get 5 years? Yeah, quit playing these games. You could play in 9 games. You can still keep your red shirt, Jimmy. Oh, really? I could play in the whole season? Yeah, you can still red shirt. What are we doing? So Division I Council will make final approval, but now you could play in 9 games and possibly red shirt. I don't get it, but the coaches passed that today. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. We're out. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now. We're back better than ever tomorrow.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your